Hello, it's Ellie, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. This time it's not a house. This is going to be what we called the Gingerbread Bakery. And by we, I mean one of my sisters and I got together and we went all out on building on The Sims 4. It's always fun when we get together. It definitely gets the creative juices flowing a little bit more. So this was built to sort of kind of resemble a gingerbread house. But instead of like the traditional gingerbread house, you know, with the cookies and the candy decorations and things like that, this is more of a spring kind of look to the gingerbread house. And pretty much, word of caution, I use a lot of plants and flowers and all of that good stuff from Romantic Garden because it is one of my favorite packs and I absolutely adore all the colors. This is pretty colorful. There's a lot of colors in this build, which I absolutely loved. So yeah, so it's pretty straightforward in terms of the outside. It's a rectangle with a, you know, just the one roof, nothing too fancy. What really makes it pop out is definitely all of the decorations that are going to be coming out. I love this store. I do believe the store is also from Romantic Garden stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Either that or from Movie Hangout, which is actually another of my favorite packs. I just love all the colors that came in both of those. I love doing neutrals, you know, just making houses black and white or, you know, shades of gray, brown, things like that. But I also really love just the colors that came in those two packs. They're just amazing. Do I wish there were more swatches of things? Yes. It is still limited, and sometimes I kind of find myself using the same thing over and over again. I'm pretty sure anybody that plays The Sims kind of just has that same issue, but it's still really nice. So this is just the front of the bakery coming together. Just putting all the windows around. It took me a while to find those windows. It seems that it went by fast, but it really was almost an argument on windows, a discussion, and more arguing with the game itself and not necessarily between us. Oh, and this thing here, I was trying to be all cookie and, you know, oh, I don't want to have a ceiling on here. I want it to just go up to the roof. But hey, what about the lights? They're hanging on nothing. Let's just put something on there to make it look like if it was whatever. I took that off right away. It wasn't even needed. I ended up putting lights on the walls instead. So this is the bathroom. Pretty standard, pretty basic. And then beside it is actually going to be the kitchen for the bakery. Which, when I was building this, I totally didn't even think about using any of the stuff for the restaurant, which is fine. I mean, we did a restaurant afterwards, which I'll be posting later on, which came out really nice. It came out so much better than I anticipated. But back to this build. We'll talk about the other build when I do post it. So pretty much the bathroom is coming together now. The outside is not done. I've said this before in other builds. I go everywhere. I try to be strategic to what I'm going to do and try to do as much as the outside first as I can before I move in. But I get bored really easily, so I go all over the place. And I'm back outside, as you can see. Decided I needed to change the colors again. Now it is brown because gingerbreads are usually sort of brown in color. I don't know, I've never built a gingerbread house. I've only seen pictures of them. And we did take a look at a couple of pictures before we built this, but it doesn't really quite resemble any of the ones that we had, of course, because that we had seen, because there's no candy or icing or anything. It's not wintry themed, it's more spring themed. Honestly, it's just a big rectangle, but I think the vines and the flowers and all of the decorations that we put outside made it look really, really nice. Sort of similar to another bakery build that I had, which I don't have a video for because that was before, which I went a little overboard with flowers, but that was before Romantic Garden stuff came out. I haven't rebuilt it with any of that, or at least added more flowers with any of that just yet, but it's probably going to happen. As I said before, this is the part for the kitchen, and as you can see, it's colorful. There's yellows and blues. I didn't want to make it, it's a gingerbread house. It's supposed to be nice and fun and cutesy, I guess. We'll go with that. And I wanted color. I want to color everywhere as much as possible. We do have an issue later on with the floor and the walls, because we cannot for the life of us agree on like a color to put in there. I mean, we were even talking color wheel theories and what color complements which other color and things like that, and it was like, okay, stop, let's just pick a color. So we do go through a couple of different color swatches and looking around trying to figure out, in almost every room except the bathroom. I think the bathrooms are so easy. I just use tile. I don't even try to like make it any like harder on myself. The kitchen is not finished, neither is the bathroom, neither is the outside, but I'm going to the next room here and I'm putting in the bakery sort of like what the heck are those? The things where you put the cupcakes and cakes and all of that stuff to sell. Those things. I can't think right now. It's late. I'm recording this kind of late for me. I should actually be asleep right now. Anyway, we do change it. As you could tell, I wanted it to be closed off so that only the staff could come back here. Kind of make it a little bit more, like, hey, this is the where staff come and they serve you from here, and kind of make it a little bit more, realistic. So I tried a door, I tried a wall there, and then I found this little fence, which I thought was really cute, and it does clip on the other side, and I didn't even actually realize that it did until I was playing, because we did test out the bakery just to make sure that it worked, and then we got caught up in that and just kept playing for the rest of the day in the bakery, making money and hiring people and firing people and all of that stuff. So yeah, I do think we keep that green counter. I don't remember if we changed the color of it or not. We might have kept it. But yeah, so just putting around some decorations on the counter, make it look a little bit more, used, and got some napkins or paper towels, whatever, some cookies. I do think some of that stuff moves or gets taken away because we literally just like kept putting stuff on there, or like, let's stop. And I put the tea rack because I like tea and my sister likes tea and all that. So yeah, we put that in there for us pretty much. Okay, so from the outside back in the inside, not even any moment spared here. The build came about pretty quickly. It did still take a while. It did still take a good while. Like, it was a couple hours in this build, mostly because we kept talking about what we wanted to do. It was, two of us building this pretty much. So it did take a little bit, but So I wanted to add something on the opposite side so it wasn't as bare. We are gonna put tables. We were gonna put 4 and we were gonna make it all colorful, and I just like, you know what, okay, let's tone it down a little bit so the color does become 1 instead of having 4 different colors, and we actually only end up with 3 tables instead of 4 to give it more space. I had a bakery before where I added it was actually a bit smaller than this, and I added a lot of tables, and it was just very difficult, and I was losing sales because the sim couldn't get through to the people. And so, lesson learned, they're not really going to eat here. It's a bakery. It's a store. They're going to purchase, and then they're going to sit down and discuss fishing and gaming and whatever it is the sims discuss in their heads with their thought bubbles. But we tried a couple of different tables. We were looking at all sorts of tables here. So in the end, like I said, we do stick with one type of table, and we end up taking one of these out. And of course, those chairs, I believe, are from Movie Hangout. It's one of those 2 packs, either Movie Hangout or Romantic Garden. I believe it's Movie Hangout, which again is another one of my favorite packs. Like I said, I probably mentioned that too many times already. So we'll just not mention it again. But anytime you see anything colorful like that, it probably came from one of those packs. So the bathroom, pretty much green tile, even though it's pretty standard to the color. There's not, it's tile, not anything like majorly over, it's clean looking, but it's colorful, which I love. So here we are on the outside, adding more decoration, and this definitely made the front of the building a little bit more interesting, not just like flat, which I'm very good at just making things look flat. It's difficult for me to just create a building and not have it be rectangular or square, or anything like that. Diagonals are even hard for me too, but just adding those little components outside definitely made it a lot, more interesting and definitely prettier. Added the soap dispenser. I'm gonna say it's a soap dispenser, even though it says it's an antibacterial, but whatever. And the paper towels for the bathroom. Just putting some stuff in there to make it, a little bit more realistic again. And this is where we're trying to figure out the color for the walls. And I do think we changed the color on the floor as well. I don't think we stick with that tile. And we did change the color on the cupcake machine to try and fit a little bit more closely with everything else, with the kind of yellow and things. And I kind of actually like that pale yellow. I don't know why we didn't keep it. Maybe because I thought there was too much yellow. And yes, we do tone down the color a little bit on the cabinets because I wanted to add color on the walls. I didn't just want to have the walls be like plain white or whatever. Maybe we do keep that yellow. I don't know. I can't really remember. We had a blast playing in with this bakery. Oh yeah, we did try to do orange. We tried to do orange, yellow, and blue on the walls to see what fit better, and then based on that we were gonna change the cabinets and things like that. Though the refrigerator does not change, it does stay yellow the entire time with the yellow borders and things like that on the refrigerator. This is not the final look of the kitchen in terms of where the refrigerator is right now. We did test it out. Like I said, we did play in the bakery for a while, and I forgot that I was still recording as we were playing, but it was pretty, it worked because I caught the footage of when I switched around where the refrigerator was located. I don't know what I was doing with those balloons, but whatever. But I did move the refrigerator, and you'll see that later on, because for some reason, I don't know why, my sim was doing all of her mixing in the bathroom on top of the sink. She wasn't using the available space in the actual kitchen, and I didn't want the sim to be going back and forth as she was baking. And then no, that just wasn't gonna work. So I don't know why she wasn't using it. There wasn't anything on there. I left a space open, but I just reworked it, changed it around, and it seemed to work afterwards. So I changed some of the things here. Yes, it's colorful, but I can limit myself from color, so I changed the counter to a white, and we do add color on the wall. It's a light tone of pink. I am not a big fan of pink. It is not my favorite color, but Lord help me, did it work here. At least the tone of pink that we chose actually worked. And I was like, oh crap, this actually looks really cute. I can't even believe it. So yeah, the pink worked. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, so we're back outside. I was trying to figure out how I wanted the ground to look like, what swatch I was getting used for that, and then I just kind of did it just pretty much one full swipe of the, I think that's it's one of the greens, I can't remember right now, and I did a little curved path, and then I go cray with all them flowers and stuff. I start a little bit tame, and I just put a little bit of flowers here, and then I make some bigger, then their counterparts, and put the regular size, and then make them bigger and put that size in, and okay, and I keep putting in more and more, and there comes a little more. And then just moving it so that it actually curves, because they're in a square grid, so just trying to make it look like it actually curves. And I really like it. It's off center, but I actually like it. It's not a straight path, and I do enjoy it a lot. And then under the flower boxes, we wanted to put something, because it just looked a little bit, at least to us, looked a little bit just empty, really empty. So we do end up putting some plants and some flowers and things like that underneath. I did not want to cover the boxes because I just think they're so cute. So we just find the lowest plants we could possibly fit underneath and put them in. And yes, there's a lot of plants that are kind of showing through on the wall, so I do end up moving a lot of those out. I think I got all of them. If I didn't, it's just as simple putting in the move objects and moving it out so that it doesn't go peek through. And then I put hedging on the sides, and I thought it looked boring. Compared to the front of the house, it looked boring. So then I stuck other plants in there to make it look as if they were overgrowing from the hedge. And I loved it. I loved that it was so cute. And there's some plants coming through. Move those out. So I used all sorts of colors. The sunflowers didn't work. The size of the wall is the smallest wall size. I just thought it looked really cute with the smallest wall size. So making the sunflowers bigger actually made them be hidden or clip the roof. So I do end up taking them out at the end, but I was like fine with that because there's plenty of flowers and green and purples and oranges and whites and everything everywhere. So that was fine. I had no problem with that. And then just adding some I forgot the word. That's all right. Just adding some kind of dirt look to the ground underneath the flowers to make it a little bit, more realistic. Like, it wouldn't be perfect underneath the flowers. So, and then the back, I know there's nothing really in the back. Nobody's gonna see the back. Who's gonna play and watch the back? But you know what? I wanted to add something in it. The front looks Very beautiful, I think. I like it. The sides are so cute with all the flowers. Let's not leave the back empty. It's gonna feel neglected. I was going a little bit overboard. I was told to stop it. So it doesn't stay this much. That's a lot in the front, but it makes sense in the front. In the back, I was going a little bit too much. So I did end up removing, as you see, a lot of the vines that I put on and then changing them. I like these vines better. They're just cuter to me. I like the way they look. I added more of the trellis. I add 2 on each side as well, similar to the ones that are in the front, but I do change the color. And I add some vines on there as if they were growing out of the trellis. And I do add the border of flowers to the top. And the one thing with just doing the vines first was that they just looked very spring. A lot of whites and yellows and blues and baby pinks, baby blues and things like that. And I was like, dude, the flower borders, we need to change those colors. So we end up changing them so it even looks more spring-like. And then I actually end up changing some of the colors on the flowers in the front because they were like the purples and stuff. And I end up fully changing them out. So they're more of a sort of spring look. So yeah, it ended up being a springy type gingerbread bakery house. Not a house, a bakery. We were having fun there. I was sizing things up immensely because we were by this time giggling. No, we had not had any sort of anything. We were just a little bit tired from the building because it did take a while, and giggly. So I was sizing up a lot of things and just making them much bigger. I cut all that out. But yeah, so gingerbread houses have to have a chimney, so we added one up top. And I added a fountain on one side, and I was gonna add sort of like a natural pond type thing, but then I changed my mind because I didn't want to deal with putting all the rocks and all the greenery, and I thought there was enough greenery and flowers. If I added like another section with a whole bunch of all that stuff around, it was just gonna look way over the top. Not that it's not already over the top outside, but it was gonna look even more. So actually on that side we just add 2 additional tables. I can't tell you that anybody actually uses them, but I like the way they look. So I do end up removing, sadly, some of the flowers on the side. And then just adding in a little ground area with some tables. So that should be coming up soon. I added the mailbox. Do we need mailboxes for restaurants and retail stores? I don't know. I don't think we do. But I added it because it's a cute mailbox and it fits. Oh, and then we were trying to figure out which lights we wanted for the outside. That's what this is. That's why there's 3 lights on the screen right now. We were trying to figure out which ones looked the nicer. And of course, the ones with the flowers on them. Because why not? It's already springtime here, even though we're in the summer, at least where I'm at. It's the summer and it's so hot. It's so hot. The sun needs to take a break. Just a little break at one point. But anyway. I turn at night every so often to check the lighting to make sure that it works. I added a lot of the little lights, ground lights, kind of hidden. I like to hide them throughout the greenery because I just think it looks nicer like that. You know, they're illuminated, but you can't really see where the lights are coming in. Oh, and I wanted to put a fence, and I got vetoed on the fence, but that's fine. It's fine. It's sort of open and it looked cute the way it was, so Oh, and I don't know what I was trying to do here. I was trying to like make a border for this section to make it look as if there was gravel and stuff. And then I thought for a second of putting rocks around just to kind of make it its own little separate. And I was like, no, I'm not dealing with rocks. But this time it was too late. I was too tired. If I had done this at the beginning, I probably would have like made a border of rocks and made it look really, more man-made, I guess. I don't know. But no, I decided not to. So we ended up putting a couple of tables outside. Again, the Sims don't really use them that much because everything that they want to shop for is inside. So they all go inside and try to, buy each other out. And then kept trying to see how I wanted to position them and redoing some of the ground look. Oh yeah, and that's this is now going into when I was doing the testing and I had to move everything around because as you saw the sim that I was using to test this, which is a sim from my absolute favorite family that I've been playing with and ruining their lives. For some reason she was in the kitchen. I don't know. But that's it. These are the screenshots here. I just adore the way this looks. It just looks so cute. Look at that. Look at those colors. Oh my god. It's just cute. I can't even. I really do like the way that this came out. That pink color just kills me. Again, I'm not a big fan of pink, but it worked. I don't know why, but it worked. At least for me it did. The bathroom here, nice and simple, clean, like a store bathroom should be. And then the kitchen, nice, pops of color. I did end up getting rid of a lot of the yellow because we just could not come to terms with a color that we wanted on the walls that would match, and we ended up going with white anyway, but that's fine. The whole premise of it is pretty colorful and I absolutely adore it. But that's pretty much it. There's the back. Did I forget a bin or did I put a bin? I might have forgotten a bin. Whoops. Oh no, there's the bin. I did put it in. Those are the screenshots for the entire place. And that's pretty much it. I did enjoy building this. I hope you guys enjoyed the speed build. Thanks so much for watching and I will see you next time.